Hi everyone, this is a quick walkthrough of the puzzle party that I'm putting together for my daughter. This is the invitation that was sent out. It's a little story about a dragon who finds a book at the library, this one, that's Treasure Hunt. And when she opened it up, instead of finding a story, she found this. So the scroll has an Aborigine myth on it, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And then there's this little tiny compass, mainly because it's the only one I had that would fit in the box. So the myth talks about Gecko and Lizard and how they got into a fight with a Sun Woman. Lizard knocked Sun Woman out of the sky using a boomerang, and she fell off to the west. And they sort of panicked at first because it went dark, but then the lizard threw his boomerang both to the west to try to get her, nothing happened, north to try to catch her, and then south to try to catch her, and at last resort he threw it to the east and brought her back. So this is why the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So they were told to use their compass, to use a tool on the east in the hallway to bring back the light. Well, the thing that's in the east is actually the light switch. So when they turn on the light switch, they'll actually be turning on a blue light bulb, and this symbol will be on the ceiling. So hopefully it works. Usually my invisible clues don't work, but without the light on, it is completely invisible. When they see that, they'll go back to their table. There'll be a whole table full of bags and other things. This bag will be there with the matching symbol. Inside this bag is a picture of a detail that's found in the room. So this is actually part of a table that we inherited when we bought the house. And underneath it, there is a little space where I can stick a scroll. So this scroll has this dragon word cloud thing on it, and most of the words have to do with treasure, but if you look around, there's under blanket, so that's where their next clue is. I have a blanket that hangs out on a chair in the living room, and when they pick it up, they'll find this clue. This clue is obviously Braille. I was going to use the Braille writer, but then I thought it might be easier for the kids to work together if they could all see it. So it's printed instead. This symbol is on one of the other bags on the table, or at least that's my drawing. Obviously not an artist. Inside that is a cipher explaining how to read Braille. All right, when they translate the message, it says, look into the star, look in the bag with a star. There we go. So it's a little tricky because the only bag that will have a star on it is actually the one that has big balloons on it. But inside this, they will find yet another scroll with a story from the Aztec about how we live in the world of the 5 suns. So the story goes that the gods couldn't figure out who was going to be the sun. Everybody kept getting in a fight. The first time the first sun fell, Tezcatlipoca came back. He was the one that was the sun. Came back in the form of a jaguar, and he ate all his people that were in the world, which were giants at the time. Not all these myths make sense, but he came back in the form of a jaguar. The second son was made by his brother, and they got into a fight about it, and when that son fell, basically what happened was there was a huge hurricane and blew the people into the forest, and they turned into monkeys. Third son shows up. This time the people get turned into dogs, turkeys, and something else that was really strange. Dog, turkeys, I can't remember. One other thing that didn't seem to go together. But anyway, they turn into dogs. And then the fourth son, the world gets flooded and they turn into fish. Okay? So you have to put everything in order. It's a little hard to see on my phone, but there's like a little S here, a little N, U there. Dog has an N sitting on its leg, and this is an S here. Right? So the nice thing about this is I snuck in some history too, because these are actual Aztec artifacts that are in the museums that I took the pictures from. But also on the scroll about the story, it tells them that they can open a lock with this information. So once they find that, they'll find my word lock. So it's set to suns. You can change it on this one. I'm sorry if it's hard to see. They're super familiar with this lock, because this lock and this pencil bag have been every party that I've had at puzzle parties, because you can fold this and then you can actually lock the zipper to the grommets and keep it closed. Inside, they will find a little key. Isn't that cute? Whoop. They will find a strong magnet, which I'm fighting with a little bit. And they will find a note that says to unlock the treasure of gold. Now, Treasure of Gold is one of the books that is mentioned in the invitation. That's why it's important, because she's going through all these books to find the one she wants. So they first have to figure out, boy, this is a good magnet. Okay, first have to figure out that this goes to one of the locks that is going to be on the treasure. So I have little luggage locks that are keyed differently, and I have a chain that goes around it. So one of those opens up one of the chains. So here is Treasure of Gold. See, it says so. It's going to be on a bookshelf with lots of other books. This is actually the same as this wooden box, or not wooden box, but cardboard box that I bought, and then I just made it look a little prettier. But it's locked because it has a child cabinet lock inside of it. So neither of my girls, and I don't think their one friend, have ever seen a child safety lock before like this, so they have to figure out that that's what this magnet is for, is to let them change that lock so they can open it. Inside here are some plain white pieces of paper and 3 paintbrushes. I will show you what this does later. I'll make a picture of it or something. But basically the papers have white crayon on it that give away the next hint. But to get to it, they have to use watercolors. So on the table with all the bags and everything else will be a cup of water and some watercolors to share. Here's what happens with those watercolor clues. Let me get some paint going. Do my best here. Sorry, it's hard to hold this all at the same time. But as you paint, the crayon resists, and ta-da! There's a clue. What it will tell them once they get those clues done is that there are 2 unique gems. So I do not have a lack of gems. These will be hanging around the room. I'm actually going to have the girls put them out before the party. I have a ridiculous number of them because they're fun to hold. But this is the 4-point, which I have a link to that video on my Google Doc if you're interested. This is the Chaos Diamond. These are super fun to fold. All right. But I did make 2 different kind of diamonds. I can't remember what this one is called, but I'll give you the links also in the Google Doc. This one has another luggage key inside of it. And the other one I had is this kind of diamond. All right. So pretty easy to fold as well. This is a spare because I messed it up. Okay, we're going to try this again. I tried to unfold one of these on my last video and it didn't work. So basically what happens is when you unfold it, you'll find a clue on the inside. So there's a little diamond drawing here, and then it says things like closest to handle A, B, F, E, and A. So there is a bag on the table that has the same symbol, and inside of it is this cryptex, okay? And also this little piece of wood has A, B, C, D, E, F written on it. So what you do is you follow the little instructions like A, B, F, E, A, and you use my little string here to figure it out. And obviously I had it set up for 5, but if it's A, B, F, E, A, that's a 0, right? But you can make any number you want. So A, B, let's see if I can do this with one hand. A, B, D, C, D, F, E is 3. Okay? So basically what I do is I've given them the code to open up this little cryptex. And, you know, it has only 3 tumblers on it. But once they get it set up, then they can open it. And now I'm going to go back to the original video where I continue the story about how the party goes together. When they put the code in, they can open this. Now my daughter thinks that the cryptex is going to have the last lock, but alas, that's not to be the case. It actually has a tiny scroll inside, which I can't get out at the moment. There it is. And inside of it, it says to dump the water, right? So the only water that will be around will be this one that we use for the watercolors. Well, the indented base is just high enough for me to put the key that unlocks the last lock of the treasure box. For me, it's a fireproof safe. All right, so inside, the treasure box. This is what I have. These are rock candy that I purchased. I'm actually really proud of myself for purchasing them because I was going to cast a whole bunch of different flavored lollies in these lovely gem containers. But honestly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be fun. So these are candy. I've got these little folded dragons that I'm not sure if I'm going to put in the treasure or not. It just depends. This is the main treasure. I don't have the other two yet, but there will be 3 little stuffy dragon toys. And then I also have these little locks, or not locks, puzzles to try to come apart. So that is the puzzle party, and I'm hoping they'll have a lot of fun. And it was a lot easier this time than what I normally put together, and hopefully they'll learn something with the Aztec and Aborigine myth, as well as enjoy the beautiful sculptures of the Aztec. So here's hoping.